infinity. Okay, I'm done. What's good, everyone? Zayd is here, and today, I think it. And today, no, we're gonna do another one. All right. Hate those messages. I talk that off. Whatever. Well, today is a very special day because it's a very special week. A very, very special week, and that's because the Game Awards are this week. I mean, a couple of years ago, I would have loved the Game Awards and pass. But last year, I watched the Game Awards, and it was awesome. Some crap here and there because of marketing and advertisements. Jeff Keighley, he's got to make concessions where he can. But this year is going to be a big one because whereas last year it was either going to be Breath of the Wild or Super Mario Odyssey, and it was going to be Breath of the Wild that won the Game of the Year. It was going to come down to that, and maybe Mario Odyssey, but it was going to be Breath of the Wild. Everyone wanted it to be Breath of the Wild, therefore Breath of the Wild won 2017's Game of the Year. But this year is very different, and we're going to get into that. But let's why don't we start with the dumb stuff? Well, some of it's dumb. Let's start with the esports portion because that's the lesser stuff. Not to take away from any of the accomplishments of these esports players and teams. Other stuff I will be taking away from for obvious reasons, but we'll get to that. So for best esports player, we have, excuse me if I butcher these names, Dominic Sonic Fox McLean, Jian Uzi Zihao. Again, I'm sorry if I butcher these names. I won't butcher this one. Hajime Tokido Taniguchi, Alessander Simple Kosiliev, and Songhyun Jonak Bang, or Bang. Again, I'm sorry I butchered the names. Didn't butcher this one because I know how to say Japanese names. So, again, sorry about that. If I butchered any of your other names, again, I'm sorry. Don't know much about esports. I don't know who's going to win. I mean, I keep voting for Hajime because that's the only name I can say correctly. So, I mean, and maybe Dominic. But I just vote for Hajime because that's the only person there whose name I can definitely pronounce correctly. A weird reason to vote for it, but I don't have any other reason because I don't know. I've never seen any of these people play a game, so I can't really vote seriously for these categories. But there's going to be some stupid categories coming up. You can tell how much time I put into this PowerPoint. I have way too much time in my hands. Best esports team. We have Australis, OG, London Spitfire, Fnatic, and Cloud9. I keep voting for OG. I don't know why. Again, don't follow esports, so I can't say much about this. I'm hoping to go through these as quickly as possible. Well, not as quickly as possible, because there's going to be a few stupid ones coming up. Best esports coach. This one I understand. For someone to understand the mechanics of a game and lead a team of people to do really well against other teams of people, that's something worth giving an award for. I'm all for that. I first look at this and really? But then I think, yeah, that's something worth being awarded for. So we have Bok Hangyu Reaperd. I assume the thing in the middle is their nickname. Danny Zonik Sorensen. Again, I'm probably going to butcher a lot of these names. Christian P. Power Sorol Bonasinu. Dylan Falco. Yanko Yink Ponovic. And Jacob Yamato Cannon Mebdi. Again, I'm sorry if I butcher your names. Never heard him called out because I don't watch esports. Don't know. I just vote for like Danny Zonik Sorensen. I don't know why. I genuinely like. I just pick random. I keep picking those guys. The ones I keep selecting. I don't know why. Moving on. I think the next one is where we start getting into the stupid territory. And indeed it is. Best esports event. I'm gonna let that sink in for a second. Best esports event. Give it a few more seconds. How is this an award? I'm sorry. Best esports event. That doesn't make any sense. How do you give an award to an event? Is it for the people who participate in the event? Is it the people who put together the event, as in people who run a business who presumably make events? I don't know who makes these events. Are they the same people? Does the same people make all 5 of these events? We have E-League Major Boston 2018, EVO 2018, League of Legends World Championship, Overwatch League Grand Finales, and the International 2018. I assume each of these events have to be made by different people, or at least 2 separate companies for that to, but even then, it's an event. How do you give an award to an event? It's an event. Like with video games, which is the point, which is what Game Awards are for, which what this event is for, have like an artistic element to them. And yeah, I understand that like an event takes people to make, just like a video game takes people to make. But come on, do I have to explain why best esports event doesn't make sense? It's dumb. This is very dumb. We have a few more dumb ones here, but I think those are coming up. Oh, here's the next one. Best esports host. We have Alex Golden Boy Mendez, Alex Machine Richardson, 2 Alexes, Anders Bloom, Paul Redeye Colliner, and FJ Sejokes Deportier. Again, sorry if I butchered those names. However, best esports host. These are like at like the bottom portion of the page where you go to vote. It's obvious like these are just like we needed filler awards to fill up the show, even though I could think of better awards off the top of my head. Best esports host. Are you freaking serious? Now look, I don't want to take away from what any of these 5 people here do. I'm sure, like, they are good hosts, but something tells me that they don't just host... Well, maybe... I mean, even if they do just host esports events, does that really make sense to award at the Game Awards? I hope they don't, like, even, like, at the very least, I hope that they don't take up too much time, and it's just, like, some, like last year they had some awards that were on like the banners at the bottom. Oh, hey, this is who won this. But they also did it with some awards that you would think they'd want to spend time on. Like, I think Persona 5 won Best RPG, and they didn't devote any time to it in the show. And it was just in a banner. I hope this one and the ones around here get that lower treatment, because they're not worth spending time on the show for. But again, I get it. Jeff Keighley and the guys hosting the game, who do the Game Awards, they have to have some corporate dealings just to make it work. So, fine. But at least limit it to, like, the better esports awards, and these just kind of don't talk about. Or at the very least, have every award on the show floor. But I get you have to save time. But save time in the right way, and don't take essential moments out of the show. I hope that's how it plays out. And just as stupid, though you could argue even stupider, best esports moment. I assume you give this award to the person involved in the moment, presumably the winner of that moment, be it a team or a single person. We have C9 comeback win in triple OT versus phase. G2 beating RNG, which RNG is like random stuff happening in the game when the game randomly generates. I think it stands for random generation. I don't know. I'm not going to look. I don't care. KT versus IG base race. OG's massive upset of LGD. Sonic Fox side switch against GO1 and DBZ. I assume that's Dragon Ball Fighters. Again, didn't watch any of these things. I'm sure that they are exciting moments. But do these guys need like a separate award? Like you already have best esports player, best esports team, and best esports coach. This one is completely filler. Like I would say, like of the three dumb ones, like the best esports host is the least ridiculous because at least it's a person. But then you have best esports moment, which you can tie to a person, but it's redundant because you already have other awards for these people to get. And then best esports event, that one still kills me. It's so stupid. I don't understand. Okay. Let's get content creator of the year out of the way. We have the only person here I've even heard of. Well, we have Dr. Lupo, Myth, Ninja, Pokimane or Pokimane, and I don't know how to spell that or say that. I don't know how to spell it. I should know how to say it. And Willie Rex. I go with Ninja because I heard the story where he didn't want to stream with women because he cared about his relationship with his wife. That I can say, yeah, and again, really, it's because he's the only one who I've ever heard of, and I only know that because I watch Review Tech USA. Great channel, one of the best on this website. Do watch Rich Review Tech USA's videos, but yeah, he's the only one there I've even heard of, or at least recognize. So I just go with him. Some of his things have some controversies, but you know, I just went with him. I'm gonna stop wasting more time on this. Let's get to the legitimate stuff. And since we just talked about a bunch of esports stuff, let's go backwards from best esports game. You might be asking, why did you make a PowerPoint if you're not going to go through it in order? Because I want to go from least important to most important. That's just the way I like to do things. Excuse any background noise you happen to hear. I don't live alone if you didn't know, if it wasn't blatantly obvious. Best esports game. We have Fortnite, Overwatch, League of Legends, Dota 2, and CSGO. So, basically the same exact thing. I know they're not the same thing. That was a joke. That was a joke. That's. I've actually tried Fortnite like a couple of days ago. It's okay. I like the idea of a battle royale mode, but it's already kind of passed for me. I don't know if I would say the same about the other games. But it's for esports. So all of these games are used for esports. I'm sure it makes sense. Again, don't watch esports. I can understand and comprehend how it works, but yeah. I don't really have... I guess it's either going to be Fortnite or Overwatch, because those two tend to win things. Because that's just what happens. It's going to be one of those two. So, best debut indie game. We have a game called Florence, and this appears a good few times on this list, so I guess it's very... I don't know about it, very much about it. But it appears in a good few places. I don't know if it's just there because people at the Game Awards like it, or... I don't know. I've never heard of this. Yoku's Island Express, The Messenger, I have heard of that. Moss, I've seen that. And a few trailers at E3. What was it, last year, the year before? I forget. And Donut Country. I vote for Florence because this game keeps popping up in these awards. That kind of makes me lean towards it. Again, this is predictions. Oh yeah, I forget to say this is a predictions video. I'm gonna say Florence, but it could also be The Messenger because I'm pretty sure I've heard people say good things about that. Again, I don't know. Best student game. We have Recharge, Lift, or is it Life? Is it Life? Lift? It's got 2 F's, but it's supposed to say Life. Don't know. Dash Quasar, Jera, or Jeras. I don't know if that's supposed to be a Z. And Combat 2018, which looks like it's... Is it... Oh, no, I see the 2 guys. Look, that guy and that guy. I thought this was like a traffic game when I first looked in. And then I see like, oh, okay, here's a guy. Here's another guy, and they're gonna beat each other up. Okay. It's Combat 2018. So, best student game. I keep going with Lift or Life. So, I don't know. But I do appreciate this kind of award because this is one of those awards that, like, yeah, you gotta appreciate those student games from different colleges. That's stuff I like to see. These are the kinds of awards I like to see. And with, like, esports, again, you know, best esports player, team, coach, that I'm all on board for. Those other ones, filler. Again, apologies to these hosts. I'm sure they do a good job. I'm sure they didn't get put in this thing at all for nothing. Which, I mean, it's possible, but I don't think that's absolutely guaranteed. I'm sure there's something to them. But I just don't think it makes sense for them to get awards here. It just doesn't fit for me. It doesn't make sense to me. Best multiplayer game. We have Destiny 2, Call of Duty Black Ops, Fortnite, and Sea of Thieves. Basic and Monster Hunter World. All but Monster Hunter World is a game that has you shoot gun, is either gun based or first person shooter based. Or, I mean, first person, or pretty much for the most part, a combination of the two. So we have 3 first person games. It's Sea of Thieves isn't gonna win because that impressed nobody. Destiny 2, I mean, like, Fortnite I would think would win because it's Fortnite, just because it's popular. But here's my thing: I hope Monster Hunter World wins. Because all those other, like, it's the only game of, like, significant quality, and I hope people try to, like, kind of, like, I really hope, this is what I'm doing, I hope people stick it to the other games and say, why does a first-person shooter have to win multiplayer? No, really, why does a first-person shooter have to win multiplayer? So, this is more of a hope than a prediction. If I'm going to predict what's most likely, it's going to be Fortnite. But a hope would be Monster Hunter World, to stick it to the first-person shooter genre, because it's overcrowding things and it's getting stale and samey. It's becoming samey garbage. So Monster Hunter World, let's let an RPG win a best multiplayer for once. I don't care if most people call it BS. Let's have that happen for once. Let's change up the standards a little bit. Let's change the status quo. Wake some of these other developers up and so people like RPG multiplayers? Okay, let's make some good ones. Have it win best multiplayer. Why not? Best sports racing game. Let's see. We have NBA 2K19. Forza Horizon 4. Yeah, okay. PES? Is it PIS? Is it PIS? PS? Oh, okay. PES 2019 Pro Evolution Soccer. I believe that's from Konami. A 2K game, a Konami game. Ooh, and an EA game, FIFA 19. And this little thing from Nintendo called Mario Tennis Aces. I wonder who it's gonna. I just wonder who's gonna win. It's Mario Tennis Aces. It's gonna be Mario Tennis Aces. I'd be shocked otherwise, and I would personally call BS if it was anything else. People cannot stand. 2K had the balls to literally beg their consumers to let them rip them off. With microtransactions, please go to your governments. Please go to your governments and let us rip you off again. And everyone hates EA. Konami are a bunch of dickholes now. And then Forza Horizon 4, great from Microsoft. That's great. And Mario Tennis Aces. Whether even if you think Mario Tennis is okay-ish, it's gonna win. Nothing else in this racing sports even compares. There's no comparison. It's going to win. I'd be shocked if it didn't. I'd think it'd be asinine if it didn't. That's not even a contest. Let's move on. The point is EA, Konami, and 2K suck balls. So moving on. Best strategy game. I can't say much about this. We have BattleTech Into the Breach. This one comes up a couple times. And this is the only game that appears here specifically called Valkyria Chronicles 4. I've heard good things about that. The Banner Saga 3 and Frostpunk. Gotta look at this because I get this title. I look at the text and it's kind of off-putting. It's Frostpunk. I would think Valkyria Chronicles 4 would win. I think it's of the 5 here, it's the one I recognize the most. I hear a lot of people like it. I think it's a strategy RPG, but it is a strategy game. Yeah, well, I don't know. I'll go. That's what I go with. Best family game. So I don't. Let's Mario Tennis Aces, Overcooked 2, Nintendo Labo, Starlink Battle for Atlas. Notice that Star Fox is in there, and Super Mario Party. Noticing a lot of Nintendo going on here. Just in case if you didn't notice that. So, I don't know what Overcooked 2 is. I don't think most people who'll be voting knows what it is. So Nintendo's is almost certainly going to win this category. If I had to, it's obviously going to be one of the 3 games. It's going to be either Mario Tennis Aces, because it's a good sports game already for families to play. Nintendo Labo is a good kid to parent experience. Maybe people vote for that reason. Super Mario Party. It's a Mario Party game. It's an obvious choice for people who are just looking from the outside, who don't really think of the other 2. That's an obvious pick for more people who've been off of game systems or more casuals. They're gonna say Super Mario Party. It's gonna be one of those 3. Starlink Battle for Atlas is not really a family game at all. It's a game marketed towards it's like an E10 plus game for preteens, 10-year-olds or preteens that has Star Fox in it, in the Nintendo version only. It's not a family game. I don't know why it's in there at all in this category. It doesn't make sense. I would also think Overcooked 2 is not really a family design game, but it's for a younger demographic, so I guess that's the logic. That's very dumb. Very, very, I don't understand that. Nintendo's going to win this category. I just don't know which of the 3 it's going to be. If I'm being honest, it's pretty split, 33%, 33.3% each. I don't know which one of these 3 are going to win. Okay, now, here's a really crazy one. I would assume, I know which one I would think would win, but what it's up against, this is probably the most closely matched of all the categories in terms of everything that's in it. Not you'll see later on, some of the categories have half things you'd expect to win and half things that shouldn't be there for any reason because they just don't compare to the other half. This is gotta be the most balanced, evenly matched. This is the most even matchup, which is funny because it's the fighting game category. We have Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle. If you don't know, you can see here it's the game with Ruby in it. Rooster Teeth's Ruby. So, if you're fans of that series, you probably know what this is already. If not, the 4 of them are in that game. It's a crossover game. Dragon Ball Fighters, for those of you who've been under a rock. Soul Calibur 6. And Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition. I don't think this one's going to win, but it's still, like, a good matchup to, like... I don't know who would win. Like, Dragon Ball Fighters is far more vast and, like, appealing to a larger market. Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle is much more a super niche title for really hardcore fans of those specific series. But Soul Calibur 6 is a very conventional, like, really high-level AAA console release. Well, they're all... So, I honestly can't say what... It's not... I don't think it's going to be Street Fighter Arcade Edition, 5 Arcade Edition. But those 3... I don't know. I don't know who's going to win that. That's going to be interesting to see. I would personally bet Dragon Ball Fighters, but I can say that thinking it's very possible it could be one of the other two. It's not going to be Street Fighter 5, though. I feel like that's just there because it's out of obligation where, like, these awards need at least 4 candidates. Best role-playing game. Pretty tightly knit here, too. I mean, almost as much as the fighting game category. But I think it's more obvious, but it's going to come between 2 of them. Monster Hunter World... Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, Octopath Traveler, Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom, and Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age. I'm a little disappointed that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 isn't here, because if it had been on here, that's the one I would have voted for, because that's the one I played. Although it did come out at the end in December of 2017, but I thought that those counted towards the 2018 because the Game Awards are at the beginning of December. So anything that comes out, like, I guess they couldn't. I guess it didn't count, or they didn't consider it. But it's still a good selection here. It's gonna be one of the 2 Square Enix games because both of them were very well received. I think it's going to be Octopath Traveler because of its nostalgic appeal and how it's very similar to the old school Square Enix games. But Dragon Quest XI has a good chance because it's like a new AAA classic style RPG with more of a AAA appearance. It could go either way. I'm going to lean towards Octopath Traveler, and I'm going to especially lean towards Octopath Traveler for a specific award that's going to be coming up. It's going to win that, no question. Best Action Adventure Game. Here's the first one with the big 3 heavy hitters. We have Marvel's Spider-Man from Insomniac, God of War from Sony, Red Dead Redemption 2 from Rockstar, Shadow of the Tomb Raider from Square Enix. This is the only award this game appears in, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's not going to be Assassin's Creed Odyssey or Tomb Raider. It can go... This is going to be consistent. It can go either... I would personally hope Spider-Man, because that's the one I played. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so I hope it wins. That game was freaking amazing. I heard God of War was great, too. It was kind of a golden standard earlier in the year. And Red Dead Redemption 2 is Red Dead Redemption 2. I don't want to see Red Dead Redemption 2 win because of its name. And I don't think that... I hope that's not the case, but... At least I can say, like, this year, we've got 3 big titles going at it. Not like last year, where there was only, like, 2 things of, like, super high caliber. And one that just, like, stood atop the rest, and you're like, that has to win. I'm like, if Breath of the Wild doesn't win, I could not take the Game Awards seriously ever. That had to win. Of course it was going to win. Or any of these like media sites, I could never take them seriously if Breath of the Wild didn't win. Considering they're 90% and like your votes are like 10% or something. I don't know. Best action game. I don't know why you need a separate category for action and action adventure, but whatever. Destiny 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Mega Man 11, Far Cry 5, and Dead Cells. I go with Dead Cells because that's, of all these 5 things, this I feel like that one's talked about more. I went with Dead Cells. Best VR AR game, Astrobot Rescue Mission, Moss, Firewall Zero Hour, Tetris Effect, and Beat Saber. I'm gonna go with Tetris Effect because it's Tetris, and I don't think most people would vote for anything else. So Tetris. Nothing against the other things here, but I'm gonna go with Tetris because it's Tetris. No reason, just it's Tetris. Best mobile game. Florence. See, I told you it was gonna appear again. Florence, Fortnite, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Seriously, that's gonna compete with Fortnite, like how it failed to do before. Okay. Reigns, Game of Thrones, and Donut Country. But seriously, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is going to compete with Fortnite, the thing that usurped its throne. And still has. Don't know why it's here. And I also cannot stand the fact that it was in the same light as Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Persona 5, and what was the last? You know, Horizon Zero Dawn. Sorry, had a mind blank. That an early access game at the time was considered of the same caliber of 4 high quality AAA complete games pisses me off to this day. And thankfully, we don't have that again this year. That was some high level BS, and it pissed me off. Especially that in like the pre-show, they were talking about like, oh no, don't tell me they're gonna give this game of the year and a freaking early access game. Thank God they didn't. And I think they won like one award. Early access games should not count. And yes, I would say the same about Fortnite. It's an early access game. It's just that it technically isn't. But PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, that was an early access game. And it just was. I cannot... If you want to give like early access games like its own category, that's fine. Those should not be in other categories, though. I don't like that. That annoys me. But moving on. Best independent game. We have a big game here. It keeps popping up in these bigger awards. Celeste, Into the Breach, we saw it before. Return of the Obra Dinn, Dead Cells, and The Messenger. This was a very good list put together. Good candidates. Probably Celeste, based on what we'll see later on, but we've got some good titles here. Haven't played any of them, but I've heard great things about each of these games. Never heard of the Return of the Obra Dinn, but I've heard of every. Actually, I haven't heard Into the Breach either. The other 3, I've heard great things about. Games for Impact. Again, we have Celeste. We have Florence. The Missing. 11 of 11 Memories Retold. I'm happy I could remember that without having to read it. And Life is Strange 2. Episode 1. Just a single episode of a game that is episodic and therefore incomplete. Why is it a candidate? Because reasons. Dumb reasons, but reasons nonetheless. Probably Celeste. Because again, it's going to be in probably a big award. A very big award. Probably going to win that. It's not going to necessarily win that, but it's probably going to win this because of how many times it just appears. Here we go. I'm personally proud of what I did here. It's nothing like major, but I spent a fair amount of time on this compared to other slides. Best performance. Brian Descartes as Connor from Detroit Become Human. Melisanthe Mahout as Cassandra from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Christopher Judge as Kratos from God of War. Roger Clark as forgot. What was it? Begins with an A. The character's name begins with an A. I'm drawing a blank. But, you know, the main character guy from Red Dead Redemption 2. And Yuri Lowenthal as Spider-Man or Peter Parker from Marvel Spider-Man. It's going to be Yuri Lowenthal. It's going to be. Because, one, he's Yuri Lowenthal. So, voice actor fans are just going to vote for him. But mainly, that's going to help a little. But mainly, his performance as Peter Parker and / Spider-Man is not only the greatest performance of this year, but is probably one of the best performances I've ever seen in a video game. And that's saying, trust me, for me, that's saying a lot. His performance freaking killed it. Because he's Yuri Lowenthal. Just remember that. If Spider-Man were not to... Here's how much I'm confident he will win. If Spider-Man were to only win one award, not win Game Award, not win anything else, this is the award. He is that game is guaranteed to win. Yuri Lowenthal's best performance. That is the surefire guaranteed win for Spider-Man. I will be beyond shocked if I am wrong. Nothing against these other guys here. They're all great. Connor was probably the only good character in terms of one of the only few good characters in Detroit Become Human. Kratos is Kratos. Those other two, But Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker / Spider-Man freaking knocked it out of the park. Be shocked if he didn't win. I'd probably faint. Not gonna lie, because I don't see a logical reason why he could not possibly win. Best audio design: Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2. This is gonna become a little samey, so Call of Duty Black Ops and Forza Horizon 4. Interestingly, I got a different image for it earlier, later on. Well, in any case, I have a different image for it over here. I don't know. That was it was a good 3 hours I spent working on this, I think. Forget the two on the bottom. It's gonna come it's gonna come down from Spider-Man, God of War, and Red Dead Redemption 2. It's gonna be one of those three. Best score / music: Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Ni no Kuni, Octopath Traveler 2, and Celeste. I would assume these three are on here for good reason. They must have very good soundtracks. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the big three didn't win. If none of the big three win here. If people liked any of these three, the bottom three soundtracks more. Stuttering a bit. This has been a long one. Yeah, I think it's. I can't really say. It could still be one of the big three. That's what I'm calling them. The big three. Because they are the big three. But it could be one of the bottom three. I haven't played... The only game I played is Spider-Man. That's what I vote for. That's all I know. I have no reason to vote for any of the other ones because I didn't play any of the other ones. Had to save it for Kingdom Hearts 3. Don't judge me. Had to save it for Kingdom Hearts 3. That's what had to be done. Otherwise, Best Art Direction: Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Octopath Traveler, and Return of the Obra Dinn. Before I said Octopath Traveler was going to almost definitely win a certain award before in the RPG section. This is it. Octopath Traveler is so, in terms of art style, in terms of its visual appearance, is so different from anything else here. I guess, I haven't seen what Return of the Obra Dinn looks like, but Octopath Traveler, one of its big features that makes it stand out from the rest is its classical 2D art style. With 3D buildings, the 2D sprites, and the 3D environments. I would assume this would win art direction because Red Dead 2, God of War, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they're just like AAA games that look as realistic as possible. God of War is definitely more. I would say they're artistic, but it's AAA. It's very AAA. Octopath Traveler is that classic nostalgic 2D sprite RPG style. I think it would most likely win Best Art Direction. Best Narrative. We have Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Detroit Become Human, and Life is Strange 2, Episode 1. Well, Detroit Become Human is not going to win because the story of that game, which is pretty much 90% of what the game is a badly written story. And the person who writes this and the other games that person who shall not be named has made sucks at writing stories, which is, since that's what his games essentially come down to other than button presses, it's not going to win Best Narrative. It's only on here because it's almost only narrative. Therefore, it's eligible for this award. It's not going to win. And I'm not sure how good Life is Strange 2 Episode 1 story is, but it's an incomplete story. Spider-Man, I would say would win this because Spider-Man's story is so good. And I'm sure God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, again, these big three, it's going to come down to one of those three. I'd actually be a little pissed if Detroit Become Human 2, because I want the individual. I want that games like Detroit Become Human to stop being made. It looked cool when it was shown off, and Connor's an awesome character. No one's gonna say otherwise. Like the whole him and I think the guy's name is Hank in the game. Like their whole buddy cop thing. That's like the only part of that game that's actually good. But the story, hot garbage. I would hope this one goes to Spider-Man, but it could go to God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, like before. Best Game Direction: Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Detroit Become Human again for some reason, and A Way Out. A Way Out has a very good reason to be here because it's so unique. It could win on its uniqueness, just purely on its uniqueness alone. That's why it's even on this list. We'll see. Most likely the big three, but A Way Out has a chance. Detroit Become Human might as well not be here. It might as well not. I don't even know why it makes sense. Direction? It's mostly... I don't understand. It's dumb for it to be here, but at least it makes sense. Here, I don't get it. I just don't... I don't get it. Best ongoing game: Destiny 2, Fortnite, Overwatch, No Man's Sky. It's an old game. Came out 2 years ago. I understand it's different now. And Rainbow Six Siege. Can it be like a rule? I guess it's because it's ongoing, so it can be. But why can't that be limited to 2018 anyway? Like ongoing, I would assume means like should be like a game that came out in the year, but is still being played because of an online multiplayer or an online feat being able to play online. That's what I would assume ongoing means, not games that released before this year and are still being played. That's just me. It makes sense, but I wish it would just be for new games so that new games can have a chance and not the same stuff again. They already have enough awards that they're going to get. Which I would say in any case. But another award where Fortnite or Overwatch are probably going to win. Great. Nothing against these games. I'm sure Overwatch won 2016 they won 2016, right? Yeah, I'm sure Overwatch won 2016 for very good reason. But Game Awards, I think it's time to give other games a chance. No? Excuse me. Stop me if I'm wrong. Give other games a chance. Not it's just kind of like a trickery and playing around with words, but whatever. And finally, the creme de la creme. Game of the year. Marvel Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Celeste. I really want it to be Spider-Man. Again, I'm a Spider-Man fan. I really, really want it to be Spider-Man. But for one, let's just say like the bottom three, not happening. I'm sure Assassin's Creed Odyssey, that's definitely not happening. Not a chance. Not a bad game, but it doesn't. And Monster Hunter World, probably a little better. I would say it's a little. In terms of like, I would put. Here's the order I'd put everything in. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, not gonna win. Celeste is not gonna win and is at the bottom of in terms of quality of all these games. Celeste, Monster Hunter World would be up from that, and then the big three. The only three, only half of these games have the chance of winning, and they each take like at least 30% each. Spider-Man, God of War, Red Dead Redemption 2. These other three might as well not be here. They're perfectly fine games. Celeste, I'm sure, would probably be like the fourth best for a lot of people. I can't say much on the matter. Didn't play it. I don't even think I've ever seen gameplay of it. I've seen Monster Hunter World. I've seen what Assassin's Creed Odyssey is like. I don't know. But I personally hope Spider-Man wins, but God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2 have just as much of a chance. And each of them have an equal amount of chance for a variety of different reasons. God of War was like the golden standard since March of this year. It's been that golden standard where everyone who complains about what EA and all these other people, other companies do the BS and not having these high quality games, they say, look at what Sony's doing with God of War. Why can't you do that? You don't have enough. You can't do that, but they can. It's always been the golden stand. It's been this golden standard. Now, and then you have Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and you have good games. Again, I personally hope it's Spider-Man. I can understand why there's a chance it won't be, but it's got a good chance to win. This year, unlike last year, is very evenly matched. It's not just guaranteed by one game. It's not even hard to pick between two games. You could argue it was that way one or the other last year. But this year, it is a battle between three giants. And that's what's going to make this year extremely exciting. I'm also interested to see which awards the big three win aside from Game of the Year, because they're in a good few of them. I'm really looking forward to the Game Awards. It's 2 days away. I've made an entire bingo tournament out of it because I kind of want to watch it with my entire family. And that's not exactly the thing they all want to just watch. So, I made like a fun little bingo game out of it to get them to be interested in watching it. It's the end of the year. Well, close to the end of the year. Gotta have something fun to do with the entire family. So I made a bingo game. A very convoluted bingo game, but a bingo game nonetheless. I'm looking forward to the Game Awards. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited for the Game Awards? I am. And if you had asked me 2 years ago, I wouldn't have given a rat's ass. But since last year, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch the Game Awards every year from now on. It was a damn good show last year. And this year, I hope they can at least stay at the same quality. And dare I hope they can do better. It's certainly going to be definitely going to be a much more intense battle between these giants. Because 2018 was a pretty good year. It was a damn good year. I'm just excited for the Game Awards. Well, okay. These were the Game Awards 2018 nominations. I'm sorry, I just need to use the title page. I really need to use the title page for any reason. Okay, well, I think that's that. Let's say goodbye to all of our awards until the 6th on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Look at all these Look at all these nominees. Most that matter, some that don't. But it's a good show all the same. Well, I think that's good. My voice is a little drained. That's about it. This has been Zetas. Ugh. Oh man. Okay. Well, if you're looking forward to the Game Awards, let me know down below. I'll be giving my thoughts of the Game Awards the day after they're done, not the day of. I'm gonna be too tired to say anything. All right, guys. Have a good one.